What up is Marcus Dynasty Football Dads. We're going to be talking about the single most important, probably aspect of Dynasty Fantasy Football. The single most important aspect. But if you're new to the channel, we are going to be talking, or we're going to be giving away a Jerry Jeudy free signed jersey. All you have to do is be a subscriber for a chance to win when we hit 1,000, which is like 50 away. So if you're one of the 50, awesome, thank you. If we're 50 away, and then we'll be able to give that jersey away to one of you guys. And I will just ship it out to you. I don't even have to pay for that. All right, so the single most important aspect, and I see this a lot of times when people are thinking about trades, or their minds are turning on counter arguments of trades, or even offering trades. So they're like, hey, this because of this, and I'll get to that of what that is. Does that make sense? No, it does not yet. So what is the single most important thing of Dynasty Fantasy Football? It is finding that counterbalance between not overvaluing redraft. And what I mean is many of us Dynasty in the communities are a part of redraft leagues. But what I am seeing is too many players, that the Derrick Henrys of the world, even at times it was like the Julio Joneses of the world, they get overvalued because of not even because of their age, because of what their production was. Remember, in Dynasty, you are trying to find that counterbalance of like, I need to find players that are going to have this long-term, hopefully success, but also at a higher level. And some of your players, like I'll just go for example, and I'm kind of harshing on Derrick Henry here, but Derrick Henry is at that point where he might not have more than a year, more than 2 years left, probably not more than 2 years for sure, but probably not more than like a year left of actual really good fantasy football production. And so when I see him in redraft leagues way up there in the top 5, or do I see him in people counter arguments? They're like, hey, I am giving you a top 5 running back. Yeah, you were giving me a top 5 running back in fantasy football last year, in redraft this 2021 season, but not in Dynasty. He is not a top 5 running back in Dynasty. He's not even top 10 in Dynasty, because I know his short-term lifespan, and that is what we have to understand. But we cannot go to the opposite extreme. And the opposite extreme is overvaluing second-round picks, third-round picks, or these deep flyers compared to some of these veterans that will help your team now. And you have to just figure out what your team dynamics is. I know this is kind of an obvious, people think this is an obvious, like, hey, like this is an obvious video. This is an obvious advice. But people will way too overvalue redraft stuff. I see this all the time. People are overvaluing redraft of 2021. They get kind of narrow focused, like blinders on, like, okay, 2021, I want, which is good. Like, yes, I want to win in 2021. I want to win a championship in 2021. And yes, that's a goal. But what is the plan after that? There always has to be a plan after that. Because if there's no plan after that, then it's either win or lose championship, or then you have to almost potentially rebuild the team. So that's why the owners of like Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, David Johnson, and in the future, it will be Henry, Zeke, CMC, Cook, like all the futures. Eventually, if you're not planning on futuring ahead, then you are going to be missing out on these Najee Harris's, Javonte Williams, these Travis Etienne's, or the Breece Halls of 2022, or even 2023. You're going to be missing out on some of these players, of course, if you are so narrow focused into 2021. So don't put the blinders on 2021. And that is going to be my number one biggest tip, biggest thing of advice, is always have a plan for the future. Even if your plan is, hey, I'm going to win the championship now, but it's like, okay, well, what kind of moves can I make? What kind of shifts can I make? Hey, can I trade Henry for still a really good running back? Let's just say in the middle of the season, can I trade him for a J.K. Dobbins? Can I trade him for a CEH plus something? Can I start making these moves that I can still contend now, but then my 2022 doesn't look like horse crap, because Henry's now 28 years old, and now everyone's saying, oh, he's falling off the map. Because what happens is if you sell too late, and that's why already some of these values are starting to go down. Like Zeke has been moving in almost every league. Kamara's been moving in almost every league. Henry has been moving in almost every league, because some of these owners are starting to prepare for the 2022, 2023 seasons. They're like, hey, I don't like the outlook. I'm going to just take maybe a tiny hit. I'm not going to have RB 5 of 2021. And there's no guarantee that Henry will be a RB5 of 2021 or RB1 or 2 or 3 or whatever it might be. He might be RB10. And I am going to take a little hint at the RB position, but make sure that I can contend for the future. Now, there is exceptions to it. If you have an amazing roster that you are just like, hey, I am going to go all in 2021 and I'm going to win the championship and then I'm just going to blow it up afterwards. Know that. Like, know that that is the plan. Then you're going to hate 2022 and 2023 probably. But you're going to love 2021 and you're going to have a name on a trophy, hopefully, or you're going to have a championship under your belt. But it is an all or nothing strategy. You are literally bringing $100 to the bank and you are putting it on red and you are going spin and you're like, you know what? Let's go for it. which there are times where that's the right move, but a lot of times it is not the right move. All right. So I hope you learned a little bit. It's Sunday, so I figured I'd put a video out there for you guys. So again, Jerry Judy, sign for Jersey. Post your trade questions. I need some more trades. I think I'm going to do trade talk Monday and Tuesday of this week. So, all right. Peace out. See you tomorrow.